First to the United States, where a vehicle explosion has rocked Nashville in Tennessee. Police saying that the blast is believed to be an intentional act. 3 people are reportedly injured, but not with life-threatening injuries. The explosion sent shattered glass and debris over a wide area, rocking nearby buildings. Black smoke and flames were seen billowing out. This explosion took place at 6:30 a.m. local time. Buildings shook in the immediate area and beyond after a loud boom was heard. This is early Christmas morning in the United States. At least 3 people were injured. The FBI is now leading the investigation. Explosive detection dog squad at the site, sniffing for other possible explosive devices in the area. The motive for the explosion has not been disclosed by the police. This blast was felt 9 blocks away and destroyed several other vehicles and damaged several buildings. The Nashville mayor, as per the latest coming in, has said at least 20 buildings in downtown Nashville experienced some damage due to the explosion. He has been urging people to stay away from the downtown area as the police and the federal authorities have launched that investigation. According to reports, several people have been transported to hospitals from the scene, but none of them are in critical condition.
ATF, FBI, etc. are all at the scene. Our hazardous devices unit is with them as well. As you know, the downtown area, the immediate downtown area, has been sealed off by law enforcement as we conduct this investigation. A number of our police dogs, a number of our police dogs have been called and are now searching the area. These are explosive detection dogs to make sure that there are no secondary devices. We have no indication that there are secondary devices. However, out of an abundance of caution, we have a number of dogs that are conducting sweeps of that immediate downtown area at present. We're also going to be conducting searches of downtown buildings, particularly those impacted on 2nd Avenue, to make sure that there is no one in need of help in those.
And we earlier spoke to senior journalist Ray Locker from Washington, D.C. Listen in.
Well, what happened was elements of the Nashville police force noticed that vehicle there, which is in the middle of a busy entertainment district in Nashville. They were suspicious. They asked people to evacuate, and then the bomb detonated. That's why there were so few casualties, because if it had been a normal time and that had not been detected, it would have blown up and possibly taken out a bunch of people with them. So they kind of got lucky in that respect. Right, but they think it was a bomb or something inside the vehicle that caused the vehicle to explode. This is something that the FBI and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms are very good at finding out. They can locate, traces of bomb-making materials, figure out where it came from. They can find out, who owned that vehicle? Where did it come from? Was it a rental vehicle? If it was rented, who rented it? So I suspect by the end of the day, we're going to have a much clearer picture of what happened in Nashville and who's responsible for it.
This vehicle explosion rocked Nashville, Tennessee in the early hours of Christmas morning. Police saying that the blast is believed to be an intentional act. Further details, of course, are awaited on that front. This explosion sent shattered glass and debris flying over a wide area, rocking nearby buildings. 6:30 a.m. local time is when the explosion struck. This is downtown area of Nashville in Tennessee in the United States. At least 3 people have been injured, no critical injuries. In fact, several people, according to reports still coming in, have now been transported to hospitals, but none of them are fortunately in a critical condition. The Nashville mayor has also said that at least 20 buildings in downtown Nashville experienced some damage from that explosion and urged the people to stay away from the area. With us is Glenn Carl, former U.S. intelligence officer, to get us more perspectives. Hi, Glenn. Thanks very much for joining us. Unfortunate developments coming in the early hours of Christmas morning for the United States. If you can get us a better sense of what we know at this point.
Well, I only know what the media reports, of course. I'm not in the government anymore, but there was a recreational vehicle, a camper kind of vehicle, building in Nashville, Tennessee, which is the largest building in the state of Tennessee, on a street that is the central tourist walkway in Nashville. That was cause for concern. The police received a call. They looked, they saw a van without any license plates, and they called the bomb squad to come. And as they were on the way at 6:30 a.m. in Nashville, it exploded. The explosion was so large that it was heard 15 kilometers away. 3 people have been injured, none gravely, so far as reports indicate. It's characterized by the local authorities as an intentional act. Beyond that, they don't know. And they have begun a forensic examination.
Right, an intentional act, and we don't know if a bomb led to that explosion, and the motive, of course, all of that is still trickling in. Very initial details only have surfaced at this point, but if you can give us a better sense of the mechanism involved as far as the investigation from this point onwards is concerned. And
Sure.
also this area that we are talking about, fortunately enough, these are early hours of Christmas morning, so not too many people there, 6:30 a.m. local time, even though this is downtown area where usually it would have been congested and a large number of people would have been present. Thankfully, the timing of the explosion has has ensured that there is a low number of casualties.
Yes, either it was intended to go off at a time when there would be the fewest imaginable number of people around, so it's a statement act more than an attempt to kill mass people, or it was triggered because whoever did this became aware that the authorities had noticed this and were sending a bomb squad there, but we don't know that. The process is, of course, the local authorities, the police and the state have already responded. And the FBI has announced, and this is a routine procedure in this kind of event, that they will be taking over the investigation and are becoming involved. That also means that organizations in the United States called Joint Terrorism Task Forces will take over the investigation. And they consist of all of the intelligence, national and local authorities, from the local police up to the FBI and the CIA and so on. And they work physically together to try to counter terrorist attacks or to investigate what happens. And now there will be a very impressive forensic examination, first by the FBI to look for clues that will then be tracked down.
Right, stay with me, Glenn. Just a quick roundup for our viewers who might just be tuning in. This is the latest that we have at this point regarding that vehicle explosion that rocked Nashville in United States, Tennessee. This is the downtown area. 6:30 a.m. local time is when this explosion struck. 3 people are reportedly injured. Fortunately, not with life-threatening injuries, as we were discussing early hours of Christmas morning, 6:30 a.m. So not too many people in the area. As per the latest, we know that 3 people have been taken to the hospital with injuries, but not critical injuries, not life-threatening injuries. None of them are in critical condition. The Nashville mayor has said that at least 20 buildings have suffered damage. The FBI is now leading the investigation. Explosive detection dog squad is sniffing for other possible explosive devices in the area as well. The motive for the explosion has not been disclosed, as we were just discussing with Glenn. The process that will be followed, an intensive forensic examination and probe that will be conducted over the next few hours, and we will await further details from the police on that front. What we do know is that this explosion occurred in the downtown area, sending shattered glass and debris over a wide area, rocking nearby buildings. Black smoke and flames seen billowing from the area. This explosion took place at 6:30 a.m. local time. At least 3 people were injured, the FBI leading the investigation. Glenn, if I can come to you with a quick remark also on the explosive detection dog squad and the FBI cooperating and putting together what we do know at this point, and we do expect a statement from the police over the next few hours to give us a better picture of what happened. The motive, of course, has not been disclosed.
Right. Well, the authorities now, the FBI and the local police, but particularly the FBI, will take the pieces from the vehicle, and each of them tends to have an identifiable, traceable signature, whether it be an identification number, a serial number, or simply the kind of piece of a vehicle it is that can lead quite directly to a specific site. Such and such a number of vehicle was rented by such and such a person or owned by an individual or a company. And from there, you start having people and geographical locations to focus on. So they'll be doing that now, as well as looking at all of the videos from surveillance cameras that storefronts will have and traffic lights will have. And you can piece together a shockingly detailed story relatively quickly.
Right. Stay with me, Glenn. Just a quick update for our viewers who might just be tuning in. Very sketchy details at this point. This vehicle explosion that rocked Nashville, Tennessee. The police saying that the blast is believed to be an intentional act. The FBI is now leading the investigation. Though we do know that this was an intentional act, not more is known as far as the investigation is concerned. This explosion sent shattered glass and debris over a wide area, rocking nearby buildings, black smoke and flames seen billowing from the area. This is 6:30 a.m. local time on Christmas morning. So not too many people there, hence fortunately a low number of casualties. Only 3 people as of now is what we know have been injured in the incident. The Nashville mayor has said at least 20 buildings in downtown Nashville experienced some damage. He urged people to stay away from the downtown area as the police and the federal authorities launched the investigation. According to reports, several people have now been transported to hospitals from the scene, none of them, fortunately, in critical condition. We also know that the dog squad, the explosive detection dog squad, is sniffing for other possible explosive devices in the area, the entire area being cordoned off. Very initial details that have surfaced at this point. Of course, it's too early to expect the police to comment on the motive and what more we know as far as the investigation is concerned. That's only expected to emerge over the next few hours as the teams are at the spot and have cordoned the entire area. A thorough probe taking place. This vehicle explosion rocked Nashville, Tennessee in the United States. Police say the blast is believed to be an intentional act, and 3 people are reportedly injured. The explosion sent shattered glass and debris over a wide area, rocking nearby buildings. As per the mayor, 20 buildings suffered damage. Let's play out for you once again what the authorities have been saying and what the police has commented so far.
ATF, FBI, etc. are all at the scene. Our hazardous devices unit is with them as well. As you know, the downtown area, the immediate downtown area, has been sealed off by law enforcement as we conduct this investigation. A number of our police dogs, a number of our police dogs have been called and are now searching the area. These are explosive detection dogs to make sure that there are no secondary devices. We have no indication that there are secondary devices. However, out of an abundance of caution, we have a number of dogs that are conducting sweeps of that immediate downtown area at present. We're also going to be conducting searches of downtown buildings, particularly those impacted on 2nd Avenue, to make sure that there is no one in need of help in those.
So that's what we know so far. This vehicle explosion that rocked Nashville, Tennessee, the police saying that the blast is believed to be an intentional act. Motive for the explosion not disclosed so far as the investigation continues. It's been a while since the explosion struck. 6:30 a.m. local time, so early hours of Christmas morning. Not too many people there. Fortunately, low number of casualties. 3 people we know have now been transported to the hospital. The mayor has said 20 buildings have suffered damage. We do expect further details to trickle in as the authorities continue to share further details with the media. Too early to comment on what exactly led to the explosion. As per the police, what they have said is that this looks like an intentional act, but no confirmation at this point regarding whether or not a bomb was detected, whether or not a bomb in that vehicle led to that explosion. It's a massive explosion. You can see for yourself the impact, the flames and the smoke seen billowing out from the area. And the police saying that the explosion was intentional. So we don't know at this point what exactly caused it. It did send shattered glass and debris over a wide area, rocking nearby buildings, black smoke and flames seen billowing out. The FBI at this point, as we've been discussing with Glenn Carl as well, the FBI is leading the investigation. Explosive detection dog squad also sniffing for other possible explosive devices in the area. So it is a very sensitive time. The entire area has been cordoned off. This is Christmas horror coming in for the people of the United States. They've woken up to this explosion rocking Nashville downtown area in America's Tennessee. This explosion was felt 9 blocks away, so far-reaching impact. It destroyed several other vehicles and damaged several buildings. The mayor has said that 20 buildings have suffered damage. That tells us the extent of the impact. Several people have now been transported to hospitals from the scene. Thankfully, none of them are in a critical condition. We'll be keeping a close eye on the latest coming in from Nashville after that explosion struck the downtown area. 3 people are injured. 20 buildings have suffered damage. It is an intentional act as per the police. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.